which at the time in 1992 it was top of the line. We even get free coffee and newspapers when we're at the park, so that's Today I'm going to talk about some things that I've been asked about quite a bit on our trip. These are campground memberships, whether they're resort memberships that you get parks included or discount memberships. We'll kind of cover the ones that we use and tell you a little bit about them. By no means am I an expert, and neither are these the best ones out there. These are just the ones that fit for us. Obviously we could have changed things a little bit, but this is what we have. My voice is a little gone, so I'll do my best to try to speak clearly and loudly, and then I'll have as much information as I can down in this description below. And if you have any questions, please fill out in the comments below as well. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Thousand Trails. Thousand Trails is the largest provider of RV resorts and campgrounds in North America. Maybe not Thousand Trails themselves, but ELS, the parent company, they have a lot of assets in campground and RV parks. Just in Thousand Trails though, there's over 80 locations in 22 states, and then also British Columbia. The membership we bought, which I will tell you a little bit about, it's a used membership. I found it on Craigslist, and I did get it at a small fraction of the cost that they would cost today. So our membership cost, we paid $1,000 for the membership itself, plus a $750 transfer fee, and to the original owners they probably spent anywhere from $8,000 to $11,000 for this membership. So we did get a good deal on it. We'll get into that a little bit later about why I went with a used membership. So you can go directly to Thousand Trails' website, and you can buy a variety of different memberships. One would be what they call a zone pass. They've broken up the country into 5 zones, and you can buy a pass that'll cost you about $550 a year, and I don't know the exact specifics on all of it, but it'll just include those parks and that zone. And then after a year you can either renew or not, and that's the benefit of that. They have their nationwide camping passes, and they range in price. One thing I'll tell you about Thousand Trails is no two contracts are really ever the same. People want different perks, different benefits, so they're all written, to cater to the customer itself. But it's nice because you can custom build your membership as well. They start at between $4,000 and $5,000 for the package, and then there's yearly dues on up to, I think their highest package is about $13,000, and that'll get you the best package that they have. So like I said, you can go to thousandtrails.com, or I'm going to put an email address in the comments below for Alicia. She is the Fulltime Families representative for Thousand Trails, and she would be more than able to answer any of your questions and help you get signed up if you want to go the route of a new membership. And then there's old memberships, and that's the route we went. The deal with a lot of the memberships is they're lifetime, meaning you can't just decide one day that you don't want to have it anymore. So you're still responsible for the dues for either a set number of years or for the rest of your life. So there's a lot of these old memberships floating around for people that just want to get rid of them. They are still paying the dues, they're not using it. That's the case with the membership that we bought. I found it on Craigslist, and I found it from a gal her and her husband had traveled full-time for a while, and he had passed away, so she was just looking to get out of the contract. So I bought it from her. It was a VIP membership, which at the time in 1992 it was top of the line. We even get free coffee and newspapers when we're at the park, so that's definitely one of our perks, and we haven't heard of many others that come with that one. I'd recommend looking on Craigslist or eBay. There are brokers, but you got to remember, if you go through a broker, there's usually extra fees attached on there. To buy one of these, the easiest thing to do is to search Craigslist or the internet and get the ID number from the seller, and then Thousand Trails has a transfer line that you can call and you can ask a variety of questions. The big questions I asked were, how many days in the system could I be? Do I have to leave the system or just the park before I can go to the next park? How many days out can I make my reservations? How many holidays can I have on the books? Mine doesn't have a high use restriction, which is good because I can book the maximum number of days at the parks even if other people can't. Another good benefit to ours is we have family passes that we can give our children once they're a little bit older, and they can also use the Thousand Trails system. I mean, there's some rules that go along with that, but it's not too bad. So once you find a membership that you want to buy and you trust the seller, how long does this take? Well, it takes a minute. It'll probably take you 3 to 4 weeks for the process from beginning to end to get the transfer completed. First thing you have to do is the seller has to initiate the transfer. One thing I would ask the seller before they initiate the transfer is if they have the original contracts. If they don't, have them request the contracts before they initiate the transfer, because Thousand Trails will not give you the original contract. I know it sounds weird, but it's just something they do. So after they initiate the contract transfer, what happens is Thousand Trails will send the necessary paperwork to the seller. The seller then has to sign them and then send them to you. And then once you get them, you have to sign them and then of course write a check for the transfer fee and then send them back to Thousand Trails. And then there's a processing time, and then you're also going to have to pay the dues for the first year. Another question I usually would have asked the sellers is if the dues are up to date, because if the dues are not up to date and you accept the contract, then you'll also accept whatever back dues they may owe, which isn't always good. So some of the benefits that you really want to look for if you're looking for an old membership would be the number of days that you can be in the system. Ours is 21, which is pretty much the max. We don't have to leave the system, but we can only be in a park for 21 days and then we can go directly to another one of their parks. Most standard plans are 14 days and then you have to leave the system for a week. Another big key is how many days a year do you get? Some of them are capped at 50 and then you have to pay $2 to $3 per night after that. Ours is unlimited nights after that, so we can be in the system year-round if we want to be. Reservations. Another good thing is being able to make your reservations a little ways out. Ours is 120 days. I've seen some that are 180 days. I've seen some that are 60 days. So if you want to be able to book time out, in the distant future, ask about that. All right, so one of the big downfalls or cons to buying a used Thousand Trails membership is they don't always include all the parks. Like I said before, there's over 80. So you need to ask which systems they include. The core 3 are typically Thousand Trails, NACO, and Leisure Time, but then later on in their lives they added Outdoor World and Mid-Atlantic. So a lot of the used memberships don't include the Mid-Atlantic or the Outdoor World parks. So always ask which parks they include. Another plan that came with our membership is called RPI. Resort Parks International. This is kind of an add-on. This is a discount plan, and what they do is they have a network of campgrounds under them that if you make reservations and stay at, you get a specific rate. There's different levels. Ours is the higher level, so it's called RPI Preferred. And basically at any of the RPI or RPI Preferred parks, we can usually stay for $10 or $15 a night, which is great considering a lot of these parks, the average rate is $30 to $40 a night. They also, in their network, they have what they call Enjoy America. The discount isn't as deep, but it adds a whole nother layer of parks to the system that you can make reservations at and stay at, especially if there's nothing else in that area. So the pros to the RPI would be the cost. $10 or $15 a night is definitely a good price. Some of the cons, their reservation system isn't the greatest sometimes. Sometimes, some of their sites you can reserve online, some you have to call, some you actually have to call the park. So it can be a little confusing. And if you want to make reservations online, you do have to pay for what they call reservation credits, which I think I paid $30 and I got as many as I could use in a year, and they do carry over, so if I don't use them, it carries over to the next year. The dues for RPI are $119 a year, which isn't bad. We've definitely used that program the most. Alright, next one is Good Sam's. It's a part of Camping World. This one's about $50 a year, and it's very popular because there's a lot of Camping Worlds, and Camping World is kind of like the Walmart of the RV industry. We were lucky that we got our first year of Good Sam's free with our membership to Fulltime Families, which we'll talk about Fulltime Families here in a little bit. So the pros to Good Sam's is they have a huge network of campgrounds. I don't know that I've ever been in many campgrounds that didn't have a Good Sam discount. It's a huge network. Also with the Good Sam's membership, you get discounts on fuel at certain truck stops and gas stations. You also get a discount when shopping at Camping World, which is huge considering we bought our washer and dryer there, and that was a huge expense, and we saved 10% or whatever on a $1,000 purchase, so that adds up quickly and pays for itself. They also have a lot of other things associated, like roadside assistance or insurance, so it's definitely worth checking them out. Another big advantage to Good Sam's is their website is full of resources. They even have route planners that you can plug in your routes, and it'll show you campgrounds along your route. It'll show you maybe where there's a low bridge or a big hill. It's excellent for planning your trip. The cons really to this plan, the biggest one I see is that the discount for campgrounds is only 10% off. That's not a lot when you're talking $40 to $50, and there's a lot better plans out there. So the pros do far outweigh the cons, but at the same time we don't use Good Sam campgrounds a whole lot. The next one I'm going to talk about is called Fulltime Families. This one is not a discount club to me, it's a community. This is a club geared towards families that travel. They hold rallies and hangouts. They have huge resource guides, everything from discounts on internet to legal services to they have a search engine on their website that helps you find campgrounds that are full-time family member friendly, and they waive that kid tax. And if you don't know what the kid tax is it's a campground that charge additional fees for any number of people over 2, 4, 6, or whatever the case may be. When we joined Fulltime Families, which the annual membership was $47 for a year, we got with it a free Good Sam's membership included. We also got a free Escapees membership included, and then, which we'll talk about that one a little bit, and then also we got discount on Passport America, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So it more than paid for itself. And since then we've upgraded to the lifetime membership, so we no longer have annual dues. And that gets us discounts on the rallies and such by being a lifetime member. And it's awesome because we've met a bunch of families, since we've joined. There's even a family finder where when you move to an area, you punch in your location and it'll tell you if there's other families in the area, and then you can meet up and do things. The park we're at right now, there's 2 other families at, and one of them we knew was going to be here, the other we found via the friend find. Cons for Fulltime Families. Well, I really can't think of many. Like I said, it's a big community. They do a lot with the families, for the families. They raised money for a family who had gotten into an accident and lost their trailer. It's just a great group of people, and we've made some great friends with this group. Alright, Passport America. This one, the dues I think are just under $50 a year. We did get a discount, and I think it ended up costing us like $39. This one we waited to join until we actually needed it. This one gets you half off. You can usually only stay a few nights, but it will pay for itself the first time you use it for the most part, depending on how long you're going to stay. The biggest con to the Passport America is I've found that the parks aren't always the greatest. We've pulled into a couple that look more like oil field living or things like that. They're just not usually maintained, and they're not the nicest RV parks. Alright, the next one is Escapees. Now this one is a big group, and they too have route planning on their website. We did not pay for this one, but I believe it's about $50 a year. We got this one included free with our Fulltime Families membership. We have stayed in one of their parks, and the biggest advantage I've seen is a lot of the parks that are Good Sam's where you get 10% off. If you use Escapees, you get 15% off. So saves you a few more dollars. They also offer a lot of other things like rallies, and they also offer mail service. They can set up your domicile and you can get your mail. So they definitely have a lot more to offer than just Campground. Some of the cons, they don't have many parks in their actual internal system. And yeah, like I said, there's not a lot of cons, but the pros haven't really worked out a ton for us. So we don't know if we will renew that one when it's up. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, Workamper news. This one's a little bit different. This is a paid membership, and I believe it's about $34 to $50 a year. And this website compiles jobs. They're camp host jobs where you can go work. They're listings where you can communicate directly with the employers. Otherwise, these jobs are a little harder to find. So, and they have them there. I did win this one at free, so my year was free. I won it at the Full-Time Families rally. So I mean, that was definitely an advantage. I'm not looking for a work camping job currently, so I haven't been able to totally utilize it. But when I do, I will use. Next one isn't really a membership, it's an app. It's called Allstays. It's one of the only apps I have ever paid for on my phone, and it is worth every penny. It's basically a map. You map an area and it will show you campgrounds, it'll show you Walmarts, it'll even color code the Walmarts, letting you know if you could stay at them or not. It shows you where rest areas are, filling stations. It even lists it even lists BLM land where you can boondock for free. According to their website, there are over 29,000 campgrounds, independent KOA national parks, Forest Service parks, public lands, anything that you can think of, it's listed on there. Includes a lot of retail places. I highly recommend it. Allstays. I will put a link down below for that as well. And there will be links for all of these clubs in the description below. Alright, so that's the ones we use. There are definitely a lot more out there. And it's not that we didn't want them, couldn't use them. It's, that kind of fit with what we got. Some other ones that are out there. Coast to Coast, which is a huge club. Harmony's dad keeps trying to give us a campground membership that's in that, but we just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because we haven't needed it because of all these other ones we have. Harvest Host, which is great. You join that, and it's a network of farms, wineries, things like that you can stay at for free for a night or two. Usually you just have to buy a product from the business. AOR, I don't know a lot about that one. Happy Camper Club, I don't really know a lot about that one either. Alright, so that's my list. I'm sure I've forgotten something or haven't explained everything super thoroughly. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but these are things that we use and they work for us. I definitely recommend, if you're going to go full-time, using some of these, either one or more, or in conjunction with each other, because they definitely help. The months of February and March, we didn't pay a dime for camping because we were in Thousand Trails parks. So, it can definitely save you money. Also, it's good. They're all good resources when you're going to an area looking for places that are close to where you want to be. If you have questions, please comment in the comments below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Please share with your friends or anybody else that might be interested in this information, and then subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We're on a pretty crazy journey and we'd love for you to tag along. So have a great day and thanks for watching.